Today I'm contemplating the strange world of not being yourself. And so I'm calling this meditation, Why is it so hard to be yourself? And we don't give that language much thought, but we're going to dive into it. Just be yourself. Some people can just be themselves in front of a camera. Some people can be themselves in a crowded room. Some people have no trouble being themselves on a first date. And we're going to go through these scenarios of when it's difficult to just be yourself. Especially in front of a camera, in front of others, in front of strangers, under pressure. And what is this? And is it a skill? I hope that you'll stick around as we dive into this weird world of the difficulty of being yourself. For nearly 3 decades, I worked with budding musicians, young people who aspired to be musical performers, singers, instrumentalists, composers. And one of the most difficult tasks was to point out to a student when they were being themselves. And some people exude this natural ability to not put on airs when other people are watching. So what does that look like? It looks like life made easy. That's what it looks like. There's a certain gregarious quality. There's a go with the punches kind of demeanor and disposition. And there's also a masterful component to this kind of a person who is not afraid to show their true colors. You kind of know what I'm talking about, don't you? When somebody is painfully aware of other people watching, the camera is on, the pressure is on, the spotlight is on, there is a preoccupation with the eyes looking at you. That's what it feels like to not be yourself. It feels like you are under scrutiny, under pressure, out of time, and that your responsibility is the other person's enjoyment, the other person's approval, the other person's emotional response. That's the feeling of not being yourself. Getting into the hearts, minds, and bodies of other people. And the way that this comes out is that you hear a lot of effort in the musical world when someone is painfully aware of being watched. The music that they're trying to emote and create is filled with effort and fear. And you can feel it. You can feel when someone is acutely aware of eyes on them, camera on them, attention on them. So when you are preoccupied with being the center of attention, your attention is usurped by a ghost, by a concept of other people judging, watching, listening, scrutinizing. And so the pressure you feel is this sensation that the pressure lives outside of you. That the eyes are on you. That the limelight is on you. The pressure is on you. The deadlines are on you. God is watching. That's my favorite. Bette Midler did us no service with that fucking song. God is watching us from a distance. You just soon have sung I've Got a Feeling Somebody's Watching Me, that Michael Jackson thing. That eerie sensation of being scrutinized is a preoccupation with the outside, something that's not even real. There is no outside. That paranoia is in you. That fear is in you. And to some degree, we can recognize that because we can be more of ourselves when we're alone, can't we? Some people can't even be themselves when they're alone because they feel like a God in the sky out there watching them, or that the voice in their head is scrutinizing them. That the voice, you may have been told the voice in your head is not you. I call bullshit on that. You're everything. The voice in the head is you. It's paranoia. You're talking to yourself. You're scaring yourself. You're giving yourself the impression that you are being watched. And you are not even watching yourself. You can't do that. You can't observe your own behavior. There's no difference between your behavior and observing. You are the behavior. You are the pattern of behavior. You are the movement. You are the thoughts. You are the so-called people watching you. See, you're everything. No matter which perspective you decide to see yourself from, that's you. So the fear of running out, the fear of being under pressure, the fear of performance, it's all this very cumbersome baggage that doesn't exist. And any good coach, any good choir director, any good group leader is going to tell everybody in the room, if we're trying to do something together in a collaborative way, this won't work if if the word I exists in team. And so I spent 3 decades teaching young people to not give a rat's ass about who's watching. And I could say it and say it and say it and say it and say it. And until they got up on stage and started performing, I could stand up in front of the group and sense the fear. I'm being watched. There's nothing worse than conducting a choir of people who are aware that they're being listened to. The authenticity dies like a withered vine. That is until the ice breaks and they get a little more comfortable being on stage, in the spotlight, in their choir dresses and stuff. And after the first few pieces, they realize, oh, this ain't so bad, and they forget to think about being watched. In much the same way that I, whoever I am, have to sit in front of my camera, which is my phone on a tripod right here, to forget it's on. And you practice being on which is a way of forgetting yourself. And being natural in front of the camera. And this is a strange thing to say, but I'm going to bring it up. There's no such thing as like good pornography. I suspect that very few people who go into the porn industry really get into it. I suppose that if they really get into it in a sincere way, those are the best actors because they are themselves. They like sex. They love sex. They love sex so much that they do it for free. You see, it gets your mind gets into a double bind if you keep tracing this. It's very difficult to say to someone how to forget about it. What is it we're trying to forget about? Oh, we're trying to forget about our bodies, our thoughts, the image of a God in the sky looking at me and judging me, and people out there. But there's so many people out there. I see people all the time. Well, maybe we need to practice being ourselves in solitude. Most people have these polished lives and they've prepared the script and they know how it's supposed to go, but they can't cope because it doesn't go the way they expect it to go. Well, that's another thing we should forget, our expectancy. And that you are truly yourself no matter what variable comes your way. That is to say, that no matter what, I'm committed to being at ease. Even if I'm called a bald-headed idiot. Or whatever. Because I'm willing to admit I am an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about. I feel comfortable talking about what I don't know. I feel comfortable being a bumbling idiot in front of the camera. So I suppose in order to be comfortable in one's own skin, one must realize they are not in the skin. There's no skin in this game. There's no boundary to it. There's no penalty to it. Being judged doesn't hurt. Being looked at doesn't hurt. And the whole time, I have simply been afraid of expressing myself. Oh, I can express myself by myself. No, most people are afraid to express themselves alone. They're afraid to read what might come out in a journal. They're afraid to think they are simply just an empty vessel through which the universe communicates, expresses, and that we are transparencies, conduits through which the universe has one expression. An uncopyable expression made self-evident in each person. So, why is it so hard to be yourself? It's because it's much more difficult to not be yourself. People think, well, that's easy. Put me in front of a camera and I can not be myself. Make me give a public speech and I cannot be myself. Put me under pressure and I cannot be myself. Give me a finite amount of time and I cannot be myself. Give me a tight budget and something to panic about and I cannot be myself. But when there's no more pressure, there are no more time constraints, and there's no one watching, no one listening, no one to judge me, I can be myself. What you're admitting is, when there's no more story, I have nothing to fear. When there's no more other, I can feel comfortable in my own skin. And ultimately, if there's no death, I will giggle my way through life. Quietly, while still playing this part that everybody thinks is totally who they are. I suppose you have to practice being yourself. But that would entail some kind of skill, wouldn't it? Like I have to rehearse being me. Does a baby rehearse being who they are? They are clearly who they are, without rehearsal. They are clearly aware, present, alive, but they have no recorded history, no baggage, no description of reality. What we call reality and a baby might be the fullness of truth right there. What a baby sees, what a dog sees, I've got my dog here, I don't know if you can see, what a dog sees and experiences is just a complete absorption of reality. No description, no limitation, no boundary. Awareness. The difference between us and babies and dogs is that now we have an awareness of that awareness. Having been exposed to something called not being myself, and recalling how awkward it is, how effortful it is, how sweaty it is. When life is hard, effortful, pressured, lacking, cumbersome, you are acting out a pretense called not being myself. That's weird. You're not a natural? You're a natural at being awkward? You're a natural at thinking life is hard? And conversely, you're a natural being comfortable when nobody's watching? It's the graven image of the other that scares you, because there are no others. The camera's not on. All eyes are not on you. Reverse the face. Become self-effacing. Become impersonal. Become this easygoing, roll with the punches, responsive creature. And you will have discovered how easy life is when all it is becoming yourself. Does a baby need to become themselves? Or are they just themselves?